themselves up every second through the social platforms like LinkedIn in such a way that every brand or organization would just say, why not? Having your social as well as professional self in front of them. So, the topic of today's discussion is using LinkedIn for personal branding. Now, let me introduce our worthy guest speaker, Miss Hamna Ashhar. As you all are already familiar with the milestones and worthy services of our speaker, having exceptional certifications in product management, design thinking, customer experience, and monitoring program. Note that she is a technology evangelist and conducted many sessions in the past. She globally guides students regarding technological concerns of improving the self-showcase to the industry. Now, without any further ado, ma'am, the panel is yours. Let's start the ultimate boost of learning. Ma'am, please.
Hello, everyone. It's really nice talking to everyone here today. Um, so we'll be talking about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is honestly the best thing that you can do to yourself right now. It is a platform that you need to be aware of so that you can actually find opportunities and create new opportunities for yourself. A little bit about me. I have been introduced really well, but I'll just give a quick introduction again. I have a background in engineering. I worked as an engineer for 3 years. I have a degree in CS. Then I moved towards project management. I'm currently working as a technical project manager. I generally call myself a global mentor because I actually want anyone who has a question or wants help in their professional life or how they can have or build a career strategy, questions that pertain to your professional life, you can just come to me, ask them without any obligation of sort of building a relationship or just just having that hesitance that you cannot reach out to me. So that is why I call myself a global mentor. So you should never hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions. I've helped many professionals, and I generally discuss about career development strategies and how to get promoted, how to turn into a leader, how can you use your personal brand to advocate for yourself and display the value that you're bringing to your team. I'm also part of PWIC, that's Pakistani Women in Computing. If you are a student who belongs to a CS background, I would highly recommend that you join multiple little chapters that we have within Pakistan. Through these communities, you get to meet a lot of other women who are in STEM and who are working to actually create a lot of opportunities for themselves as well. These opportunities generally come from networking. So when you're meeting new people, that's when you find or become more aware of what is out there, what may be the new industry standard. So yeah, let's begin with today's topic. I would highly recommend that if you have any questions, if you have any comment, if you want to share a story and just get my feedback on it, feel free to do so. You can always raise your hand, and the organizing team would give you the ability to unmute yourself. Right. So the main areas that we'll be discussing today is why do you need LinkedIn? In the registration form, I noticed that a lot of people do not have LinkedIn profiles. And some people who do have LinkedIn profiles, they generally are not using it that often. They don't know how to use it. They don't know why they even need to use it. And even they don't know how to use it in the most efficient way where they're not wasting their time on yet another social media platform. So you have another you already have so many platforms that you are scrolling through all day. You don't need another platform to add to your routines, right? So we'll be talking more about that. Then we'll talk about what does personal brand even mean. So I mean, we hear so many people talk about build a personal brand. You should have a personal brand, LinkedIn personal brand. But what does personal brand even mean? So we'll talk more about that. And then we'll break that down into 5 different steps about how step by step, brick by brick, you can actually build yourself into someone you are actually proud of. Maybe by the end of your graduate, by the time you graduate. So the earlier you start, the better. I had some people ask me, when should you start using LinkedIn? You should start using LinkedIn as soon as you know about LinkedIn. So the earlier, the better. And then we'll talk about building a portfolio using LinkedIn. So when I talk about portfolio, I actually mean getting those experiences that you hear people ask for in the entry level job experiences. So how do you build experiences? How do you find experiences? And then again, how much experience is required to join LinkedIn? So these are some of the areas that we'll be discussing through this conversation. Not a presentation, it's a structured conversation. So please feel free to ask your questions. I'll highly recommend that you have a notepad and a pen right next to you, and you can just note down your questions. After each slide or after a few slides, you'll see a questions a red colored questions text. That means that after I'm done explaining that slide to you, you have the option to ask your questions. And you can, I mean, language is not a problem. You can ask your question in any language that you're comfortable in. All right, so let's talk about why do you even need to be on LinkedIn? 70% of students here said that they do not have a LinkedIn profile. And you need to do that as soon as you leave this webinar. The first thing you need to do is sign up for LinkedIn. What are the benefits of being on LinkedIn? You get to connect with professionals from around the world. You get to learn from people who are experts in their field, and you can even directly interact with them. You can ask them questions. You can have like a conversation with them. You can build onto their point. You can share your experiences, and they can. Once you start building that relationship, you can actually ask for their advice, for their guidance as well. So you basically expand your horizon, you expand your perspective. You get inspiration. So you might stumble upon other people's profile who might actually be students, and you may see that they're doing so much work. That might get you curious about why can't you do that? Why can't you do the same thing? How and where did they find this opportunity? You can reach out to them and you can ask them how you can be part of that. So you get inspiration of how to build your portfolios, what kind of experiences are out there, what kind of opportunities are out there. And then you also land a lot of paid opportunities. So when I say paid opportunities, I specifically mean jobs or paid projects. So I was able to land my both my recent jobs as a technical project manager through my LinkedIn. These were not the roles that I had applied to, and however, recruiters directly reached out to me, and even right now, I get like a lot of recruiters reaching out to me asking if I am available for a certain role that they already have. So you have to understand that there's an estimate of around, I think, 98% recruiters are on LinkedIn, and recruiters generally are very actively searching for candidates on LinkedIn. So that's like a part of their daily routine where they're just going through LinkedIn, searching for keywords, searching for people for their next roles. So that is why it's very important for you to be on LinkedIn. And then you find similar people. So whenever I have been, for example, when I was job hunting, I found someone who was job hunting as well, and I connected with her, and we always talked about what struggles we were facing, what worked for us, what didn't work for us. So you build a community around what you're interested in, what your goals are, and it's always easier to talk to other people who are going through the same thing and can understand how you're feeling, and if there is an opportunity that they have found where they can help you out as well. All right. So, um, I recently met a person who's also a student, and she was actually, I asked her how are you building your portfolio, because her LinkedIn profile was just empty. It just had her picture and her education, and that was it. And I asked her, what is she doing to build her profile or build her portfolio? And she said that she's building a new website for her portfolio, where she wants to showcase all of her achievements or all of the things that she have been working on. And I just asked her why she's not doing that on LinkedIn. The reason is, building a website. It's an old school idea. This happened when LinkedIn was not that famous, or people were not using LinkedIn actively. That was the time when people started building their own websites. So with websites, once you build it, you also have to maintain SEO, make sure that it's searchable, and also you have to get the traffic. You have to make sure that people are viewing your website. They're going through your website. You have the page views, and that takes time and effort and unnecessary um, effort, honestly. Because why would you want to do that when LinkedIn is doing everything for you? They are making you searchable. They are making it easier for recruiters to land on your profile. All you need to do is have a very optimized LinkedIn profile. And when I say optimized, I actually mean have the kind of story that you want other people to know. So if you want to be an engineer, and you're looking for engineering roles, your LinkedIn profile should match that goal of yours. So your LinkedIn is a living resume. Even when you're sleeping, people are searching for maybe a keyword, maybe you in particular, and they are landing on your LinkedIn profile. So this is always live. People are always looking at your profile. So you have to make those views count. Yeah, so everyone has a value, and it's your responsibility to find the right people that know about you. So, if you have a value that you provide, if you're a graphic designer and you want more clients, it's your responsibility to put yourself out there as a graphic designer, so the right people who can be your clients, they can find you. Okay, yeah, so there's a question text here. Does anyone have any questions so far? No? Okay. All right, so let's move towards defining our personal brand. What does defining our personal brand mean? So, in short, ask yourself, what do you want to be known for? What is it that you want maybe 2 years from now? Is your a long-term aim to establish yourself as an engineer or a front-end engineer or a back-end engineer? Is that your long-term goal? Is that what you want to use your LinkedIn profile for? Um, then you can even ask yourself, um, I want to help other people build their personal brand, right? So let's just say you're a student, you took this webinar, you got so excited about LinkedIn, you started working on your LinkedIn, and then you realized how great it was for you and how much people you were able to connect with. And then you look at all the other resources out there to keep building and keep optimizing your LinkedIn portfolio to such an extent that you are now an expert in LinkedIn personal branding. What you can do now is you can actually change your LinkedIn profile in such a way to attract other people who want to know more about how they can build their personal brand. So, for example, I am an engineer working as a project manager, and yet I talk about career strategies, I talk about personal branding, I talk about resumes, ATS, right? So I talk about all of these things that are not even close to my experience. But this is how I have branded myself. This is what I want to be known for you to be able to come to me and ask for the right guidance within your personal and professional life, right? So what do you want to be known for? That is where you start building your brand. Okay, so how do you see yourself? How do you want others to see you? you need to identify the unique combination of skills and experiences that make you you. And that is what we are going to talk further about. How can you find those skills? How can you build those skills? And how can you identify what skills are missing? Any questions so far? Nope. Okay. Right. So we have now divided personal branding into 5 different stages. These are very extensive, and this should take time because I want you to ask me questions after each step, because each step is work in itself. So brand creation is not something that you do in a week. It may take you months um, or weeks to build a proper brand that um, you can admit that yes, this is you. Now you have to optimize it. So building your brand is the first step, and then optimizing your brand is the second step. Optimizing generally means that you keep on improving it, and but the content and the idea is there. All right, so a 5 step process. So the first step is to actually have a LinkedIn profile. So you need to set up your LinkedIn profile. What your LinkedIn profile, the different segments or parts of a LinkedIn profile are your profile picture and your cover picture. So your profile picture should be clear. It should not have a background that's distracting. It should have your face should be it should be more of a portrait. So something similar, something like in this area. It should not be too zoomed out. It should not be a Facebook picture where you're posing and everything. It should be professional. If you want to add a background color to it, you can do that as well. But try to make sure that it shows off you as a professional person and not you as someone who wants to use it as a Facebook profile picture, right? Your cover picture is not similar to your Facebook cover picture. So don't make the mistake of having the same sort of scenery or pictures of buildings on your cover picture, on your cover photo, because that's not how you want to present yourself when someone views your LinkedIn profile. So when someone comes on your LinkedIn profile, the first thing they're going to see is your banner, your profile picture, and then your headline. So these are the first 3 elements that they'll land on. So you want to make sure that during within these 3 sections, you have clearly identified what your value is, what your skills are, or what technologies you're interested in. So if you're an engineer, you can talk about, you can say that I am skilled in Python, MongoDB, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, or you are a campus ambassador for some organization. So you just need to make sure that you're conveying that value. What are you going to add in those cover pictures? If you want more information about what kind of pictures should you have, what kind of headline should you have, just search this on YouTube and you'll find multiple videos about people talking about how you can optimize your or set up your LinkedIn profile. Right. So you see, when someone lands on my page, they can immediately see that what I'm giving them, I'm providing them with career strategy advice, growth mindset advice, leadership, and then personal branding advice. And then I help tech millennials with successful careers. And then there is my picture, which is very clear. Portrait, you can see my face, and everything is just sort of talking about the same area, hence the same personal branding. Then we talk about the about section and then the feature section. So the about section should have um, basic, should answer some basic questions. Who you are, why you're interested in this particular area, what is it, something that interests you about this area, what are your achievements thus far, what are you interested in, And then how can someone connect with you? So a call to action. How can someone connect with you? Can they reach out to you on LinkedIn? Can they send you a connection request? Can they send you an email? If they can send you an email, give your email address. So writing an about section is an art. So if you want to learn more about what needs to go into an about section, Google it. There are a lot of content to help you out there. Feature section. So things or projects um, or different awards that you're proud of, you can just show that in a feature section as well. So if you want to showcase that you won an award in a hackathon, you can actually add that as a and make it more prominent in your feature section. So feature section is just different sort of links and articles or other materials that you can use to showcase that this is something that you have been working on. So if you have a Medium blog, you can add the link of your blog there. If you have a Behance account, which is a platform used by um, graphic designers, or if you have a GitHub account, you can just link it here and showcase that you have a GitHub account. And if someone is interested to know more about your projects, they can go here. So you can use that feature section to just highlight particularly important information for yourself. Experience is similar to how you would write your experiences in a resume. That is a completely different conversation of how you should write an experience, but it should generally have it should start with an action verb, so executed. Then it should talk about what you did, what the project was, and what was the impact. What happened when you did that project? What was the end result? So this is how you should structure your experience. If you want to know more details about it, Google that. You'll find multiple information because this particular webinar is more focused towards um, personal branding and not exactly creating or focusing on minute sections within your personal profile. So that is why I'm not going into many details. And then you can even ask your teachers or your fellow colleagues or students to give you recommendations. That also helps. And then make sure that you have a custom URL. So when you set up an account, you generally get like ABCD123 sort of URL. Just make sure that you are changing that to reflect who you are as a person, maybe your name. And if that name's taken, just add maybe whatever technology you want or tech or any other word that you want to add next to it. So this is my featured section. So I have added a resource guide here, a free resource guide here. These are a few webinars that I did that I think would be useful for anyone who is coming on my profile and wants to know more about how to create a resume, how to build an ITS friendly template, what kind of templates are out there that I've created. So, and then you have the activity section where generally all of your interaction with people on LinkedIn would be shown here. And there will be a timestamp right next to it. So this is important when it comes to showing that you are an active member on LinkedIn. So if your activity shows that you added a comment or liked someone's post 2 hours ago, it shows the recruiter or someone who's viewing your profile that you are an active member. And if they reached out to you on LinkedIn, you will respond. So that is why it's important to keep a very sort of a daily engagement on the platform. And when I say engagement, not exactly scrolling, but adding comments, liking posts, so that kind of engagement. And then you have the about section and the experience section. All right. So when you will set up your account in your when you set up your LinkedIn account, you may stumble upon an option that says, "Do you want to turn on creator mode?" So there's creator mode and standard mode has like tiny little things that are different between those profiles. Um, I will just quickly walk you through how both of them are different. You'll notice that. Um, in the initial outlook there will be difference in a button that you see. Then let me just show you that. So So Arsalan here has turned on his creator mode. And how do we know this? Is because um, he has these hashtags under his profile, which tells us what kind of content or what kind of things does he talk about. Okay, and then he has followers showing here, and then for this particular area, okay, let's see. So for this particular area, because I'm already connected to Arsalan, so I don't see it here, but you'll generally see a connect button, a follow button here. So for other people, it might show connect button there, right? This is a profile without the creator mode. For them, there is no hashtags. They directly have a headline. They don't. They only you only see the number of connections they have, and the number of followers is seen in the activity section. So it's less emphasized. Then you will also notice that the sections are different. So for a creator, their featured section would be on top, their activity section would be on top, and then you'll have their about section. For a standard profile that does not have creator mode turned on, you'll have the about section first. It will sort of be your professional summary, sort of. You can write like a very long professional summary. Then you have an activity area and then experience. So these are like tiny little changes that happen. If you ever want to use and see what creative mode is, you can always turn it on, see how you like it. If you don't like it, you can always turn it off. There's no harm and foul. Questions so far? Nope. Okay. Yeah, so the second point would be to follow industry leaders. So I saw a lot of people asking questions about how can they use the platform in a better way. How can they remove fake users from their profile? It's all the reason you are not to interested to get on LinkedIn and maybe scroll through it is because you have not optimized your newsfeed in a way that it actually talks about the things that you are interested in. So if I am scrolling through my LinkedIn profile, I would generally see people talking about career progressions, uh, people talking about tech, people talking about new startups. So see that these are all of the things that I enjoyed reading, and this is why I have sort of updated my newsfeed in a way that people I only see news about updates about the industry. I see educational resources from successful leaders. I follow a lot of thought leaders, and then I have um, conversations with these people on different posts or engagements. And then if I connect with someone, I can even talk to them on through my messages. Um, if you connect with someone, let's just say you connected with your friend who posts irrelevant content to what you like, or you connected with an industry leader who talks about maybe graphic designing, but you're not interested in graphic designing, you're interested in development. You can always connect with them and then unfollow them. So where you can find that is when you connect with them, you can go to more, scroll down, and you see unfollow. So what happens is you don't exactly see their posts, but they are part of your network. So that is helpful for you to update and keep your news feed sort of something that you're getting value from. When you're scrolling through your news feed and you don't find something that's relevant to you, you can just always hide that content, and the algorithm will understand not to show you similar posts. And yeah, so keep optimizing your newsfeed. Make sure that your newsfeed has a lot of different thought leaders. So all the areas that you're interested in, maybe you're interested in back end, you're interested in front end, you're interested in project management, you're also interested in personal branding. You can just follow all of these content creators or industry leaders, and they just put out content every day where they talk about different elements within their niche, and you can interact with them as well. Does anyone have any questions regarding this? Nope. Okay. All right. So when you're using LinkedIn, it's important to build relationships. And when I say relationships, you can't just message a random stranger and then ask them to refer you for a job. You cannot do that because that's not um, that is not a good way to present yourself. You come off as snobby, or you come off as unprofessional because they don't know you. Why should they refer you? When someone refers you to a company, the company would hold them accountable if in case you were not a good fit. And when I say good fit, there might be a problem with your attitude. Maybe you misbehaved with an interviewer or a recruiter, and they'll hold that employee responsible for your behavior because you were their referral. So that is why people are very careful when they are referring others to within their company. Um, but I mean, everyone wants to help. They do want to refer you, but you just have to take it with a more personalized approach. What you need to do is the first thing before you start talking to someone, try to follow them on LinkedIn. Try to interact. If they comment a lot, if they post a lot, you can go to their profile. You can comment on their content. You can start building a rapport with them. When you comment on someone's content every day, they start to familiarize with you, who you are. They start to understand that this person exists. Then you can send them a connection request where you can, and it's a personalized connection. So just don't click on the connect button. That's a bad habit. Even if you want to connect to strangers that do not post content daily, always send a personalized connection request. With personalized connection request, you write a short note about who you are, why you want to connect. Is it because you are in the same industry? Is it because they are in a role that you want to be in? Is it because you want to talk to them for maybe 20 minutes about a question that you had? Maybe you want to know whether you should do an MBA after this or not. So you might have a question and you can just ask them that there's a question, a query that I wanted to ask. Would you be available for 15 minutes? I would love to connect with you. So always send a personalized message because on the other end of that laptop, someone is actually sitting there and reading and getting off of that energy. So I think 100% of the times, people who send me connection request with a message, I always accept them. People who don't, I just would keep them in my connection because I don't know why they want to connect. I don't know what their intention is to connect with me. Also, there's a limit to how many connections you can have on LinkedIn. It's 30,000. So a lot of people are very picky when it comes to adding people in their connections. So just make sure that you have a reason to connect with them, or you are providing or value to them in one way or the other, even if you're just sending them a personalized message, appreciating their content or appreciating their job journey, etc. And then you also have to benefit them in return. So this could be anything. Let's just say you talk to them, you find out that they're working very actively on their content. The one thing that you can do is to benefit to them is to engage on their post. So if someone is actively creating content, engage with them. If someone is organizing an event, volunteer to help out. If someone is helping other people with something voluntarily, you can even ask to contribute in that. If someone is working on a side project that you are interested in, just ask that you want to help them out, you want to volunteer in your experience of using that technology, and you can always talk about that. Okay, so you build a relationship. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. Okay, so I've told you, I keep telling you that you need to comment, you need to engage on people's on their posts. However, we haven't talked about what is the best way to engage. Because when I say engage, it does not generally mean just like and then go, right? Once you like their post, leave a comment. When you leave a comment, don't say thanks for sharing or comment for better reach or something that does not really start a conversation. So you need what your aim should be is to start conversations. Let them know that you have an opinion, you have a specific question, you have a similar experience. Share that. How are you adding value to their post? How, if let's just say they asked a question, would you do so? So, for example, they asked you, would you do this for a week and let me know. Let's just say a post was around that sort of idea. Make a promise in that comment that yes, this is very interesting, let me try it out after a week, I'll let you know what the results were. You can then try it out and have that conversation with that person. This is how you build rapport, this is how you build relationships, when you have conversations. Okay. I had people talk about how of a time waste of time it was to go through LinkedIn. And sometimes it can be time consuming. So for example, when you're scrolling through Facebook, it can get very time consuming. You might see 2 hours just evaporate from your day, and you might even not even understand what just happened, right? So I would highly recommend that you start getting intentional with your efforts. When you have identified people that you want to get in touch with, that you want to talk to, maybe recruiters who are adding content, maybe industry leaders, maybe employees in a particular company, or just sort of developers, right? Or people who are engaging on the platform, and you want to you want to build a relationship with them. What you can do is you can use a good hack that I use as well. It is actually bookmarking their activity so that you can just go through. So, for example, you can just go through a list of people and then you can just land on their latest post and add a comment under it. And you don't exactly have to scroll through complete LinkedIn profile or complete newsfeed to find that particular person, or if they have posted or not. So, for example, if I go to Arsalan's and I want to interact with him, I think he's a good person to build a relationship with. I'll go to his activity. I'll click on see all activity. I'll go to post. So these are all the posts that are um, added by him, right? So I'll go to this post and then I will bookmark this. And when I bookmark this, I will write the name Arsalan, and and he might post every 8 a.m. PKT, so that's Pakistan time. So that may be the time when he posts every day. So a lot of the content creators, for example, I generally post 9 a.m. EST every day. So a lot of the content creators have a very fixed time when they post. So you can start you can bookmark this, and once you have this bookmark, you can always go through this and just click on his profile and just land on it, without having to scroll through LinkedIn. And I mean, if you want to make it very efficient, you can just do that as well. Take out 20 minutes from your day, just go through different people's profile, add comments, leave comments, smart comments, and then just go on with your day. Okay, questions so far? Not a lot of people have any questions though. Okay, so when you're connecting, what kind of people should you connect with? The people you connect with or build a relationship with will generally um, help you in one way or the other. They might give you a job recommendation. They may offer you a job opportunity. They might be helpful in making an introduction. They might give you a career advice. They can even introduce you to new ideas or experiences. For example, an event happening in a community that they are part of, or they are the event organizers, and you can become part of that community. So the, everyone who you talk to have a value to give you. So identify that, and you can always connect with your network, your current and former colleagues, and then start connecting with people that you admire, people who are in your target roles, and people who are industry leaders. And if you are connecting with them, send them a personalized message. That is very important. And when within that personalized message, you can talk about what you admire in their content. If you have met them previously somewhere, how and where did you meet them? Do you like that? For example, if you wanted to move from engineering to project management and you notice that I did the same thing, you can always reach out to me and you can say that I noticed that you moved from engineering to project management. I'm trying to make the same transition, and I want to understand if project management would be a good fit for me. Do you have 15 minutes where I can talk more about it? So you see, now I know why that person wants to connect, what is an area that he's struggling with, and I will connect with him and I will be happy to set up that call with him. If you have a common connection, and you think that, and you have to make an ask. So, for example, you want to get a referral from someone and you notice that you have a common connection, ask that common connection to make the introduction, so that the other person knows who's referring you. So that's important. And then if you are from the same school, if you're both from the same company, you can always add that as well. Hey, I saw that you are also a graduate from GSU, and I would be happy to connect. I'm recently graduating and I'm exploring these areas. I would love to get your take on what you think is the next upcoming technology that I should be learning or I should be working on. So these are some of the questions or some of the ways that you can connect with people. Right. So let's talk about building a portfolio using LinkedIn. So as I said, when we talk about portfolio, we basically mean how can you build experiences. So I've noticed that a lot of people, yeah. So when we say build a portfolio, it generally means getting getting yourself out there, getting interpersonal skills or getting technical skills or skills that can help bridge your skill set gap. It's very important for you to build your interpersonal skills as well, networking skills, how you talk to people, how do you have conversation with strangers. That can actually help you when you are part of communities, or you attend an event, or you just talk to random people, and you try to understand where they're coming from, who they are. So you can always find communities on LinkedIn. You can find upcoming events on LinkedIn. You can find people who are organizing an event when we need volunteers. You might also find multiple opportunities or free guides that people have created for you. So there are a lot of people on LinkedIn who are working specifically for the students, building content for them, building resources for them, setting up LinkedIn live events to answer their questions. So there are a lot of resources within the platform that can help you grow and help you understand who you are and where you want to be. And then another question that people were asking in the registration form recurringly was, how can they land roles? How can they apply for jobs? How can they apply for foreign jobs? How can they apply for remote jobs? So these were some recurring questions. You may notice that once you start following a lot of these recruiters, these recruiters may post a job opportunity or talk about a job opening within their company. The worst thing that you can do is you can just add a a comment under the job posting as interested and then just leaving it like that. Don't even comment under it. You know that there's a job opening, they would have probably given you an email address as well. If they haven't, reached out, send them a message on LinkedIn. You can either use InMail, so that's like you can have like a proper conversation. If there's no option to send an InMail, you can send a connection request with a short message, and that message could be that you saw their post. You can talk about that they're looking for someone with HTML, CSS, JavaScript skills, and you have had experience with all three technologies in your previous projects. Um, and you've been working with them on your personal projects as well. You'd love to talk about what they're looking for in that particular role and how you can be a good fit for that position. You see, so you have to build that expectation as well. If you have the option to send an email, send them an email. Talk talk about the same areas, and then also maybe add your resume, attach your resume to that email, and send it to them. Don't interact or don't try to interact with them under the comment section because that's useless. Once they have posted that job, reach out to them either through a connection request or through email or through sending an email. Meanwhile, go to their careers page and apply through that portal as well. You can also reach out to people on in the company within the same team that the recruiter is recruiting for. You can reach out to those employees, talk more about what that role is, what kind of people they're looking for, what essentially should you have to become a good candidate for that particular role. Once you build that rapport, once you have like a 15 to 20-minute chat with they like you like them, then you should make an ask whether they would be comfortable in referring you to their company. There's high chances that they might, when you're talking to them, you might notice that you might not be a good fit because you don't have the relevant experience that they're looking for. Then there's no point of asking whether they can refer you because they probably won't, because as they have realized you're not a good fit. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. So when you get what you pitch for, so if you're pitching about being a developer or talking about being a developer, or if that's an area that you're interested in, then you need to go out and you need to talk to people. If you are talking to people about technology, you will get eyes from other developers. And honestly, I have had people ask me questions about, I don't have that much experience. I get intimidated by other people's experience on LinkedIn. um, I get super impressed by people who are students and they are working everywhere. They are part of communities. They are working with different campus ambassadors. They are working to arrange events. They may have like internships. If someone is very active and they are a very essential part of LinkedIn or they're using LinkedIn, I get super impressed, even though I have like 5 years of experience. Why? Because I was not aware of LinkedIn, or I wasn't using LinkedIn at that age. And to have a portfolio from that age is actually very impressive. So when someone actually lands on your profile, this is how their mind works. So they might read your content, the comment, the engagement on LinkedIn. They'll visit your profile. They'll read your banner image, then your tagline and hashtags. Then they check out your featured section, then read your about section, and then if they like you, they'll connect with you. It's the same when you send a connection request, they land on your profile, and everything is the same afterwards. All right, so we are nearing the end. Doesn't anyone have any questions? Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Daniel has a question. Can someone unmute him? Okay. Can someone unmute Daniel because he has a question? Okay. All right. Please help Daniel. I will take your question. Don't worry. Let's just move on while I think the organizers are trying to fix that problem. Okay.
Daniel, आपका mic open है. You can talk.
Daniel is on mute now. So we have another person raising their hand as well. All right, when Daniel, whenever you're ready, feel free to ask your question. And okay, so let's just move on. When do you know you have enough experience? So ultimately, a lot of people were talking about how they don't have enough experience to be part of LinkedIn because they have empty profiles. They have never done anything. What can you do? You do not really need industry experience. So even when you're applying for different jobs or different roles, there will be for entry level positions, there might be a sentence that says 1 to 2 years of experience required or 0 to 1 years of experience required. What does that mean? That does not mean that you need industry experience, that you need to have internships or you need to have worked with a job or a company for a year. That is not what it means. For an entry level role, what experience actually means is having hands on experience or exposure to certain technologies or certain tools or certain design strategies if you're a graphic designer. So that is what it means. When we talk about building a portfolio or building experiences on LinkedIn, a lot of the times you will notice that people have these passion projects or side projects that they're working on. Why don't you reach out to, if you're an engineer, let's just say you're an engineer, you want to look for a job in front end engineering, you want experience, you can find small businesses, or you can find people who are looking to have a website built for them. A lot of non-profit organizations don't have the money to build a website. What you can do is you can offer a volunteer to build it for them, and during that time, you can just make sure that you are documenting everything. What were the issues that you were facing? What were the successes that you had? Why did you choose a particular technology? So, for example, why did you choose a certain language? Why did you choose a certain platform? Why did you use WordPress? Why not? Why didn't you use Magento? Or certain these kind of questions. Why did you make certain decisions? If you had an issue, how did you overcome that issue? What did you learn from that mistake? These are some of the things that you should actually build or have a better conversational experience in. That this is what counts as experience. So when we're talking about non-industry experiences, freelancing, personal projects, if you're taking a course, a lot of the time those courses will have mini projects just so that you can get hands on with that technology. Do those courses, maybe add those courses in your resume as well, because it just shows how much hands on experience you have had using those technologies. If you are someone from a marketing team or you're interested in design, um, there are multiple people on LinkedIn who are trying to do a lot of things while they are trying to build their brand. So they might be putting out content, they might be putting out a lot of graphics, that they might be they might need like a good cover photo. Reach out to them, ask them that you want to help them market themselves better, and you can be a good addition to their team. You would volunteer your hours, you want to just see what kind of strategies you can use to build their following. So this is how you can get experiences. You have to go out and find opportunities. And one way to find these opportunities is to get inspired. You might see other students or ex-students who may have done similar sort of projects, and you can even reach out to them and ask them, what kind of projects do you think should I do, or what kind of new communities are there that I should join where I can get hands-on experience with certain technologies. Also, as developers, you should you can also try hackathons. That is also a really good experience to add on your portfolio, or your LinkedIn. So experience does not always equate to industry or a company experience. You, whenever you are hands-on, or you have certain skills that you've gained through an experience, that's the experience that people are looking for. All right. So here's a list that I created. It's like a 5 to 10 people. Here's a list of people who are students and they are active members on LinkedIn. When I say active, they might not be posting regularly, but they are engaging with other people regularly. They are involved with different activities, different communities, different um, different organizations who are helping them build their personal branding as well. So recently, there's something GitHub campus event, something similar that is going to happen in Islamabad, and the team is looking for volunteers right now. So it will be great if you want to be part of that activity, that event. As a volunteer, you get to meet that so many people. You then get to communicate with a lot of speakers that will be coming on, and through that particular platform you will be able to build a better relationship with them, ask them questions that you may have about the industry, about what technologies should you start working on, or how can you get experience in those technologies, what should they have before applying for, what should you have before applying for roles in certain companies. So talking to a lot of people helps you get a better idea. You cannot understand what the industry has, what the industry is ready to offer without actually going out and asking questions. And LinkedIn is the best platform to find the right people and ask the right questions. Does anyone have any questions so far? Daniel, if you still have a question, please feel free to unmute yourself. If you don't, or if I answered your question, or if any one of you has a question afterwards, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn and ask your question. So, just a quick summary. Define who your audience is going to be. Would your audience be other students? Would your audience be other recruiters? Would your audience be some other industry or some other professionals? Um, Create an optimized profile. First, just make sure that your profile is sort of portraying what your value is, and what you are bringing to the table. Even if you're not, even if you just want to be maybe a JavaScript developer, just say that you're a JavaScript developer, and then build the experience around getting that to that goal. And then be visible. When I say be visible, you should have consistent engagement. People know that you exist. People are coming to your profile. You are proactively working towards your goal, maybe to get a job. You need to build a portfolio, and then to build a portfolio, you need to connect with people, you need to connect with organizations, you need to find projects, you need to find ideas on how you can fill that skill set gap, and then get some connections. It's not the best. It's not the best view when I see someone's connections as 23 connections or 300 connections. LinkedIn generally shows 500 plus, and that's it. So make sure you have like around 501 connections so that it shows that you are very popular. Okay, and you have a maintained LinkedIn profile. So that's a good trick to do. What I would recommend for your homework would be to build a LinkedIn profile. Um, And there are so many resources out there that can actually help you understand how to set up that profile. Then you should connect to people you already know. So find all of these people that you already know, friends of friends, friends that you know would be happy to connect with you. And then you start following industry leaders. You start customizing your news feed so that you only see information that you can learn from or that is adding value to yourself. Every information that is not adding value to you, just unfollow those people or hide that content. When you are engaging with other people's comments or engaging on the platform, make sure you're very respectable. Make sure that you are not too negative. You should never be negative. If there is, let's just say someone is saying something that you do not agree with, find a nicer way to say it without being rude, right? So don't be negative. Don't put out content that is irrelevant to what your end goal is or that is irrelevant to the platform's professional vibe in itself. And then just find and create and identify new opportunities. And these opportunities could be anything. These opportunities could be maybe you find a LinkedIn live that you want to go to, or new people that you want to meet, or events that are happening, or communities that you can join, or internships that you can land, the roles that you can land. Does anyone have any questions? I think we're about to be done. Okay. These were some of the questions that I received through our registration. I think we have answered a few. I'll just quickly go over them just if someone has a similar